After a long week planning a charity bake sale for my son's school, I came home to find every single tray of cookies smashed across my driveway. My neighbor sat on his porch watching, sipping his coffee. When I yelled, "Why would you do this?" he shrugged and said, "Because I'm sick of your ugly kids begging at my door." I had to go to the event empty-handed, watching my son's face fall as other kids laughed and pointed. That night, we found "bad parent" written across our garage in red paint. This all started because of cookies. Yeah. Cookies. I live in Brownsburg, Indiana. Small town. Mostly quiet. Folks wave when you drive by. Every yard has a flag. Most homes have porches with rocking chairs. You get the idea. We moved here 5 years ago. My husband works in construction, and I run an online craft store from home. We have 2 boys, and they're good kids. My oldest, Dylan, is 9. Smart, a little shy, big heart. He's the kind of kid who stops to help a lady pick up her dropped groceries. I know I'm biased, he's my son, but he's a good one. 2 weeks ago, Dylan came home from school holding a flyer with both hands like it was gold. "Mom, we're having a bake sale at school. It's for the animal shelter. If we raise the most money, we get to name a puppy." He was so excited. And if you saw the way he looked at our old rescue dog, Gravy, you'd understand why it mattered so much to him. We got to work. Every night after dinner, we baked. Chocolate chip, sugar, oatmeal raisin. I let Dylan name the batches like a real business, Dylan's delicious drops and no bag needed biscuits. We even made little signs. He drew a cartoon dog on each tray. It was messy, exhausting, and one of the best weeks I'd had in a while. By Friday night, we had 10 trays of cookies. All cooled, packed neatly, covered in foil. I put them in cardboard boxes and stacked them near the front door. The sale was Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I woke up early Saturday, loaded up my coffee, and went outside to put the boxes in the car. And froze. The driveway was a war zone. Cookies everywhere. Crushed, stomped, scattered in gravel. Some were smeared like someone had kicked them into the concrete. Chocolate chips melted into the pavement. Sprinkles everywhere. I just stood there, staring. Then I looked up. Dean. My neighbor. Sitting on his front porch, same spot he always sat in, wearing his beat-up robe and holding a mug. Watching me. I walked toward him, still in disbelief. "What the hell happened?" I asked. "Did you see who did this?" He didn't even blink. Just took a sip of coffee and said, "Yeah. I did." "You did this?" He shrugged, like it didn't matter. "Because I'm sick of your ugly kids begging at my door," he said. "Maybe now you'll get the message." I didn't even have words. My chest tightened so bad I thought I might throw up. "You destroyed cookies for a school bake sale," I said. "What's wrong with you?" "Maybe I just don't like freeloaders. Don't need you raising more of them." He stood up, turned, and walked back into his house like it was nothing. I stood there shaking. Not crying. Not yet. But shaking all over. We had to go to the bake sale with nothing. I told Dylan the cookies fell when I was loading the car, trying to soften the blow. He smiled and said, "It's okay," but I saw the crack in his face. I saw how he looked at the other kids with their cupcakes and brownies. I saw how no one stopped by our empty table. One kid even said, "Guess you're not allowed to bake anymore, huh?" That's when Dylan looked down and didn't look up again. He didn't cry in public. He waited until we got home. Then he sat on the floor of his room and just let it out. I cleaned the driveway that night. Alone. Scraped icing off the concrete with a metal spatula. Then, around 11 p.m., I heard something outside. Quick footsteps. A hissing sound. I ran to the door, opened it, and saw the words "bad parent" sprayed in red across our garage door. That was it. I stood there, barefoot on the cold cement, and made a decision. Dean thought he could bully a kid and nothing would happen. He thought wrong. The next morning, I didn't bother calling the cops. What would be the point? Dean was a retired police officer. He'd bragged before about how his buddies were still on the force. How they've looked out for each other. I knew exactly how that would go. A report, maybe. A fake promise to look into it. Then nothing. So I didn't waste my breath. Instead, I started taking notes. I watched. I waited. I learned. Dean had a routine. He was boring and predictable. Every morning at 6:45, he came out to raise his American flag. He watered his lawn like clockwork. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Took out his trash exactly at 8:03 p.m. on Thursdays. Drank his morning coffee on the porch and stared at people like he owned the damn street. He also had a big metal shed in his backyard. Big enough to store a riding mower, tools, even a small boat. And one day, while talking to another neighbor, I learned something useful. Dean never got a permit for that shed. That stuck with me. I didn't do anything right away. I wanted this to be slow. I wanted it to hurt the way he hurt my son. So first, I started small. One night around 1 a.m., I poured a cup of pancake syrup across his porch steps. The next morning, he stepped outside and slipped, hard. He caught himself on the railing, but I heard him yell from across the street. He limped for a week. Then I went bigger. I had my brother, who works pest control in Terre Haute, mail me something he called a rodent cocktail. Legal, not toxic to pets, but it attracts raccoons like honey draws flies. I mixed it with peanut butter and left spoonfuls under Dean's back porch, around his trash cans, and in a few old flower pots near his shed. Within days, it was working. Raccoons started tearing up his yard every night. Trash everywhere. Scratch marks on his siding. One even broke a porch light. I watched from behind my blinds, holding coffee like a trophy, as Dean stood outside in his bathrobe swearing into the darkness with a flashlight and a BB gun. But the best part? Every time he called animal control, they told him there wasn't much they could do. They're native wildlife, they said. Keep your trash secure. Dean lost it. Started putting up little metal barriers around his garbage bins. Bought 2 more security cameras. Even tried one of those ultrasonic pest machines. Nothing worked. Then came the shed. I filled out the complaint form anonymously. Claimed to be concerned about structural stability. I attached photos, ones I took from my attic window, and mailed it straight to the HOA and the county building office. Within 2 weeks, Dean had a notice posted on his front door. Unpermitted structure. Must be removed within 30 days or face daily fines. That same day, he ripped the paper down and shouted into his phone on the porch. He must have made a dozen calls. But none of them helped. Rules were rules. And Dean was now a rule breaker. But I wasn't done. I needed him humiliated. Like my son was. I needed people to see who he really was. So I went to Facebook. There's a local group called Brownsburg Living. Mostly full of people selling old furniture or asking for plumber recommendations. But once in a while, drama pops off. I made a new account. No photo. No friends. Posted one message, late at night, along with a picture of our garage door graffiti. Does anyone know if this is the same Dean H. who called a child ugly and smashed a school bake sale effort? Asking because my kid came home crying. Not the Brownsburg I know. I didn't expect it to blow up. But by morning, it had over 300 comments. Neighbors chimed in. Some said they'd had problems with Dean too, kids being yelled at, packages going missing, dog walkers being filmed without reason. One mom posted that he told her daughter to go cry to your mommy, brat, on Halloween. The mob turned fast. Dean's reputation tanked. He tried defending himself in the comments, big mistake. Called people soft, blamed cancel culture, said he was the last real man on this street. People dragged him. Screen captured every comment. Shared it across 2 other neighborhood groups. Someone even posted his full name and old police badge number. By Memorial Day, he was a joke. Which made it the perfect day to finish what I started. Memorial Day was Dean's big day every year. He'd host this over-the-top barbecue for all his old buddies from the force. Guys in their 60s, all with those same hard faces and backwards ball caps. They'd park their trucks along the street like they owned the neighborhood. Loud country music, beer coolers, and that damn flag waving on his front lawn. I'd been waiting for this. The night before, I crept into his yard just past midnight. Wore gloves, dark hoodie, quiet shoes. I used a wrench to loosen a few sprinkler heads, just enough so they'd shoot water sideways instead of down. I repositioned one toward his grill. Another toward the folding chairs. Set the timer for noon, just when the party would be in full swing. Then I left something small under the American flag. It was a stuffed animal. A little dog. Dirty. Burnt at the edges. The same kind we had used as decorations on Dylan's bake sale table. I clipped a note to it. This is for Dylan. No threats. No names. Just a reminder. At noon, everything unfolded perfectly. Dean had the grill going. His friends were laughing, beers in hand. Lawn chairs were out. Music playing. Then the sprinklers kicked on. It hit fast, like a slap. Water blasted the grill. Smoke, then sparks. Steam everywhere. Meat soaked. Grease popped and hissed. One guy screamed, dropped a plate of burgers. Another jumped out of a soaked chair, slipping hard on the wet grass. The music shorted out. Dean shouted, "What the hell?" Neighbors gathered. A few across the street cheered. One guy even filmed the whole thing. Dean yanked the sprinkler system shut, dripping wet and red-faced, then stormed over to the flagpole. That's when he saw the stuffed dog. He froze. Didn't touch it. Just stared. One of his friends picked it up. "Read the note." "Who's Dylan?" the guy asked. Dean didn't answer. By that evening, the Facebook comments were flying again. Videos of the barbecue fail made it into the local meme groups. Someone added slow motion and labeled it "Justice, Suburbia Style." Another person updated the Brownsburg Living Group post with a side-by-side photo, my spray-painted garage versus Dean's flooded barbecue. Dean stopped coming outside. The shed was gone within 3 weeks. The house? Listed for sale 2 weeks after that. No farewell. No last words. Just a moving truck at 7 a.m. On a Tuesday and Dean pacing the lawn while a young couple walked through the home. He wouldn't even look at me as I watered my flowers. I wasn't proud of everything I did. Some of it was petty. Some of it crossed lines. But that's what revenge is, isn't it? It's not pretty. It's not clean. It's emotional. Messy. Necessary. My son doesn't know about any of it. He just knows the next bake sale, we made cookies again. He raised the most money in the whole school. Got to name a puppy Cookie Dough. His smile when they gave him that certificate? That erased something inside me. I still see Dean's porch every morning. Empty now. But sometimes I imagine him wherever he is, some new neighborhood, some new porch, sipping coffee, wondering how his life unraveled so fast. Wondering who made it happen. And I hope he remembers the name Dylan. Because some wounds don't heal with time. Some have to be torn open first. Then stitched shut, with fire.